I want to ask you about living in the valley. It was segregated. Why would white people want to live with the blacks when the blacks are so violent and destructive? Because everywhere they go, they create a hood, a ghetto, right? And white people tend to want to have beautiful neighborhood, paint their house and cut the grass. Why would they want to live with the blacks knowing that that's going to happen, devaluing the property and all that? Why would they want to live with the blacks knowing that that's going to happen?
Oh, I definitely can't answer that question. I can't speak for all black people, and I certainly can't speak for white people, so I'm going to have to opt out of that one.
No, but you said they were segregated in the valley, right? When you were living there. But why would they want to live in an environment where they know that the blacks are going to screw it up?
Oh, I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think that black people enhance almost every environment we live in because we're incredible.
They do what now?
I said I think that black people tend to enhance every environment we are existing in because we are incredible and create culture and many beautiful things by just being ourselves.
And how do you define enhance? How do you define enhance?
I think, we bring ourselves, we bring our love, we bring our light the way that, I think many people can and have the capacity to.
And so you don't see the mess that they bring with them, like crime, and they don't really take care of themselves, their neighborhoods very well. Do you see that happening?
I can't really speak to that. I don't know that that's something I feel necessarily comfortable to offer any sort of perspective on.
And why is that?
I just don't feel comfortable doing that.
But that's what love is to be honest about it so the blacks can get better.
That's interesting.
You agree with that? That's what your book is all about. You're trying to help them, right?
That's not what my book is about. My book is about my experience navigating grief and trauma. It's a very personal memoir. It's my story. I am not an expert on anything except my journey, and that was what my book is about. That is what my book and my film, actually, which is available on YouTube. It's Don't Hurt Yourself. It's same title as the book.
But isn't the intent is to help?
The intent is to share my story, and I hope that people, one, see themselves in it, and I hope that in some way it does touch and inspire them.
Do you believe, though, that by telling them the truth of why white people don't want to be around them, maybe they would, as individuals, take a look at themselves and go, right, you're right about that. Everywhere we move, we bring a mess with us. Nobody want to be around us like that. Then it'll start getting better because they have a knowledge within themselves, the blacks, that they're wrong, and white people don't want to be around them because of that, right? When they start working on themselves, if you told them the truth about it, that it's them and not the whites.
I don't agree with that. But again, this is your show and that's your perspective, but I don't agree with that.
And why don't you agree with that?
There's a few different things in there that just don't resonate with me and how I feel, but ultimately,
like what, for an example?
That's not what my book is about. So I'm not going to offer any sort of expertise or opinion on that. I think
but you lived through all this. You know about this.
I don't. Again, I've lived through grief. I've lived through trauma. I've had issues with addiction. I've lived through a number of things.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that, but let me ask
really
this.
About that.
Let me ask this one other thing you said. You said that you mentioned black and brown. Are you referring to the Mexicans?
I am referring to people who have brown skin, who don't identify as black, which is a very wide range of people.
Did you know that Mexicans don't like blacks? They don't want to be around them either.
Really? Where does it say that?
Everywhere. I interviewed them over in South Central Los Angeles. There's a battle going on between the blacks and the Mexicans because the Mexicans say that the blacks are too violent. They complain, they mess up the hood.
Oh, wow.
And so why do the blacks involve, when they're talking about the black issue, they always say black and brown, black and brown, when the Mexicans are like, oh, don't put us in there. Most people don't like black people now because they're always complaining and so violent.
You've interviewed most people. Have you interviewed most people?
A lot.
You've interviewed a lot of people? What's your focus group like? What are the numbers?
Of all races, and they all say the same thing.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
You don't see that blacks and Mexicans don't like each other?
I definitely would not say that. Again, I haven't done the extensive interviewing and research that you have, so I can't really speak to that.
Really? So you don't see it or anything? Do you have to be an expert to see reality?
I think reality is definitely subjective. I think everyone's reality is different.
But do you have to be an expert to see reality?
Again, I think you can be an expert on your own reality, which I definitely am. I think I'm for sure an expert on my own experience in life, yeah.
But you don't have to be an expert to see reality, right?
Again, everyone's reality is subjective. So your reality and my reality are very different.
No, that's not what I asked. Do you have to be an expert to see reality?
Again, everyone's reality is different.
Amazing.
So you don't
Isn't that
necessarily...
amazing? And so you ended up becoming addicted to drugs and things, right?
I had issues with addiction, yes.
And what brought that on? What was the reason?
It was a
for
way
that?
of dealing with, well, rather not dealing with my grief. It was a way to sort of escape, having to actually sit down with myself and heal, which is what I later did, and that's what helped me overcome those issues when I was finally ready to get to a place and really deal with my grief head on instead of running away from it, which was a lot of what the issues with addiction were coming from, yeah.
Yeah, people do use drugs as a means of escaping.
Yes, they do.
It's hard to look at themselves and take the pain and overcome. I do agree with that. But I'm telling you, that's the same thing that would happen with the blacks if they looked at themselves and stopped blaming white people or anyone. They will get better, but they got to become individuals, stop identifying with color, the black, they into the black thing.
So you don't identify as black?
No.
What do you identify as?
I am black as the ace of spades, right?
Right.
But...
Is that a term from Alabama? I never heard that.
Black as the ace of spades, yeah. But that's not who I am. I'm not my mind, I'm not my body, I'm not emotions. Have you noticed that thoughts and emotions are evil?
No, I don't know about that. Thoughts and emotions are evil?
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to that, for sure.
And why not?
Again, I don't really subscribe to the idea of evil, so I wouldn't necessarily put that, aligned with thoughts and emotions.
And where do you create your own thoughts?
No. Oh my God, I wish I did.
Where do they come from?
I think they come from a lot of places, I think our thoughts are influenced by many things. I work in marketing and advertising and all of that, and a lot of the work that we do is influencing people's thoughts,
The thoughts, when you have painful thoughts, where do they come from?
I often think they come from pain, but the thing about painful thoughts, and I talk about this a lot in my book, is that you can reject them, You can say, I am not going to let this pain control me. Yes, I think this, and maybe in some ways it's true, but I'm going to choose to believe something differently. I speak a lot about positive affirmations, meditation, and really training your thoughts towards positivity.
So you really don't, and I know it may be a little hard for you to talk about because, on TV, but you don't see that the blacks' problems are their own problems and no one else. It starts in the home because most black men and women, boys and girls, resent their mothers. The mothers turn them away from their fathers, and they become like what they hate. They take on the same evil spirit that's in their mother.
I don't believe that. You think that black mothers are evil?
To the core.
Oh, wow.
Because that's where all the anger comes from. It started with the mother. She imposed her will on the kids.
That's a lot of hurt and pain. What was your relationship with your mother like?
Let me just tell you this. The mother turned the children away from the father and recreated the children her image, and then she played victim.
Did your mother do that?
Let me just finish this.
Okay.
She played victim and pretend the father was the victimizer when it's really her, so the kids identify with the mother and turn away from the father and catch hell. It's in the home, but they're blaming the whites when it really starts in the home because the father's been screwed up by their mothers and they have not overcome their mothers, and they end up marrying women just like mama, and they can't deal with them. And then you go into the world, and the people who want to control you, like the so-called civil rights leaders, and the experts, they tell you that it's racism, it's this, it's that, when it's really just hate of the mother. That's why you have to forgive the mother so you can be better.
Oh, I'm sorry, I touched the mic.
You know what I mean?
That's a lot of pain you must have gone through in your life. I can't imagine whatever happened with you and your mother or whatever you've witnessed or seen, I'm very sorry for that.
Have you noticed that the anger of the kids is that of the mother? That's what black people are mad about. They hate their mothers and they're yearning for their fathers. Wow. But instead of looking within and understanding that, they have been told that it's white supremacy, it's Jim Crow, it's slavery. They don't even know anything about slavery. They wouldn't know slavery if they walked up and smacked them in the face.
Well, I think it's very interesting that you mentioned slavery in a conversation with, Black motherhood, because Black mothers are the only reason that Black people were able to overcome and get through slavery so that
That's
you
not
and I
true.
could be here.
That is totally not true.